Do you long for a richer, more fulfilled life? I think we all do. And it's available to each of us if we wake up to, make sense of, and act on the possibilities already available to us. Today, let's take a look at the first phase of a three-part change process, the wake-up call for growth. Hi, this is Marlena Fiol from Becoming Who We Truly Are. If you're searching to better understand and to become your truest self, you've come to the right place. Please join me on this journey of self-discovery, and I'd love it if you'd share your own experiences in the comments below. And at the end of this brief episode, I'll provide additional information on growing the life you desire. When things are going pretty well, most of us coast along on automatic, relatively unconscious of any wake-up call for growth or change. And if we do begin to notice that niggling sense of needing to change something in our lives, we're often too busy to deal with it and we push it aside. Waking up to that awareness is the first and often challenging step in our personal growth process. This week, in part one of a three-part series, I'll share tips for responding to our wake-up call for growth. The first step is recognizing the value of restlessness. Restlessness is that gnawing tension that builds up when we know we want to be somewhere else or we want to do something else, but we don't know exactly where or what that is. Staying with the same routines for a long time is easy, it's familiar, it's comfortable, but if we're awake enough, we may notice that all that stability can become a little uninteresting, boring, and we may feel stuck. That's when restlessness sets in. If we're lucky, eventually our brains crave something more, and if we pay attention, we may recognize the value of restlessness as an important wake-up call for growth in our lives. You might be asking, is that restlessness anxiety or is it excitement? Truth is, restlessness can either be positive excitement or it can be negative anxiety, depending on the context. Let me share a personal story about this. Some years ago, Ed and I were at the London Heathrow Airport with our 11-year-old grandson, Lewis. We were about to put him on a plane as an unaccompanied minor to New York City via a plane change in Reykjavik, Iceland. So we had time for breakfast before he boarded his flight, and while we were eating, I asked Lewis, "Are you nervous?" He says, "No, I'm just excited." And so I ask, "What's the difference between nervous and excited?" "Well, Nani, nervous is when you feel unsure about something. Excited is when you can hardly wait to do it." And his body literally arched up out of his chair when he was describing excitement, almost like a racehorse lunging toward the starting line. I often think about Lewis's words when I'm examining whether my restlessness is a negative or positive energy. Am I leaning into the restlessness with excitement, or am I pulling back with anxiety? This leads me to the final step in heeding that wake-up call for growth, embracing our unease and discomfort. Just because our restlessness stems from positive excitement does not make it comfortable. I doubt very much that little Lewis felt comfortable boarding that plane by himself. But just because it's uncomfortable does not make it bad. In fact, it's only by embracing the unease and the discomfort that we can turn restlessness into an opportunity in our lives. Restlessness is there for a reason. It has a job to do, and that job is to motivate us to make some kind of change in our lives. The question is, can we stay in that discomfort long enough for it to do its job? In next week's episode, I'll share tips for the next phase of the personal growth process, following inner wisdom. For further information about personal growth and learning, we recommend the following resources. First, a TEDx talk by Bill Eckstrom, Why Comfort Will Ruin Your Life. Second, my July 6, 2021 YouTube episode titled Waking Up. And finally, my 2020 YouTube episode titled Conflict in Our Intimate Relationships. The web addresses of each of these are in the show notes below. And remember, we are together on this journey.